I knew I could do it this time, Harry said, because I'd already done it. Does that make sense? I don't know. Harry, look at Snape. Together they peered around the bush at the other bank. Snape had regained consciousness. He was conjuring stretchers and lifting the limp forms of Harry, Hermione, and Black onto them. A fourth stretcher, no doubt bearing Ron, was already floating at his side. Then, wand held out in front of him, he moved away towards the castle. Right, it's nearly time, said Hermione, tensely looking at her watch. We've got about 45 minutes until Dumbledore locks the door to the hospital wing. We've got to rescue Sirius and get back into the ward before anybody realizes we're missing. They waited, watching the moving clouds reflecting on the lake, while the bush next to them whispered in the breeze. Buckbeak, bored, was ferreting around for worms again. Do you reckon he's up there? Said Harry, checking his watch. He looked up at the castle and began counting windows to the right of the west tower. Look, Hermione whispered. Who's that? Someone's coming back out of the castle. Harry stared through the darkness. The man was hurrying across the grounds towards one of the entrances, something shiny glinting in his belt. McNair, said Harry. The executioner. He's gone to get the Dementors. This is it, Hermione. Hermione put her hands on Buckbeak's back, and Harry gave her a leg up. Then he placed his foot on one of the lower branches of the bush and climbed up in front of her. He pulled Buckbeak's rope back over his neck and tied it to the other side of his collar like reins. Ready? He whispered to Hermione. You'd better hold on to me. He nudged Buckbeak's sides with his heels. Buckbeak soared straight into the air. Harry gripped his flanks with his knees, feeling his great wings rising powerfully beneath them. Hermione was holding Harry very tight around the waist. He could hear her muttering, Oh no, I don't like this. Oh, I really don't like this. Harry urged Buckbeak forward. They were gliding quietly towards the upper floors of the castle. Harry pulled hard on the left-hand side of the rope, and Buckbeak turned. Harry was trying to count the windows flashing past. Whoa, he said, pulling backwards as hard as he could. Buckbeak slowed, and they found themselves at a stop, unless you counted for the fact that they kept rising up and down several feet, as the hippogriff beat his wings to remain airborne. He's there, said Harry, spotting Sirius as they rose up beside the window. He reached out, and as Buckbeak's wings fell, was able to tap sharply on the glass. Black looked up. Harry saw his jaw drop. He leapt from his chair, hurried to the window, and tried to open it, but it was locked. Stand back, Hermione called him, and she took out her wand, still gripping the back of Harry's robes with her left hand. Alohomora! The window sprang open. How? Said Black weakly, staring at the hippogriff. Get on, there's not much time, said Harry, gripping Buckbeak firmly on either side of his sleek neck to hold his steady. You've got to get out of here. The Dementors are coming. McNair's gone to get them. Black placed a hand on either side of the window frame and heaved his head and shoulders out of it. It was very lucky he was so thin. In seconds he had managed to fling one leg over Buckbeak's back and pull himself onto the hippogriff behind Hermione. Okay, Buckbeak, up, said Harry, shaking the rope. Up to the tower, come on! The hippogriff gave one sweep of his mighty wings, and they were soaring upward again, high as the top of the west tower. Buckbeak landed with a clatter on the battlements, and Harry and Hermione slid off him at once. Sirius, you better go, quick, Harry panted. They'll reach Flitwick's office any moment. They'll find you're gone. Buckbeak pawed the ground, tossing his sharp head. What happened to the other boy? Ron, croaked Sirius. He's going to be okay. He's still out of it, but Madame Pomfrey says she'll be able to make him better. Quick, go! But Black was still staring down at Harry. How can I ever think? Go! Harry and Hermione shouted together. Black wheeled Buckbeak around, facing the open sky. We'll see each other again, he said. You are truly your father's son, Harry. He squeezed Buckbeak's sides with his heels. Harry and Hermione jumped back as the enormous wings rose once more. The hippogriff took off into the air. He and his rider became smaller and smaller as Harry gazed after them. Then a cloud drifted across the moon. They were gone. And that's the end of chapter 21.